I think one of the biggest mistakes that small businesses make when they're trying to grow is they listen to their non-ideal customer. I think that's a huge trap, and it's an easy trap because people that aren't necessarily your ideal customers tend to be louder than your ideal customers, right? Because your ideal customers are happy as a lark in the dark. They're there, they're doing their thing, like whatever, like they're just there, like they don't show up on your radar, right? But the whiny ones aren't necessarily your people, right? Because if they were your people, they probably wouldn't be whining quite that much. And they would probably be a little more understanding of like some of the things you're trying to do. So I think there's this, it's an easy thing to have happen, right? Like happen as a supervisor, like you cater to whining people because they're whiny.
The squeaky wheel is guiding you, and it shouldn't.
Right, and it shouldn't, right? Like it should guide you, but it should guide you on, I don't want more people like you because you're not my people. And it should guide you in this like, okay, who are the people that I love to work with? How do I get more of them? And I think it's super easy to do because you're like, oh, well, we got to do that. We got to lower our prices, or we got to do this, and we got to do that. And like,
you like factoids, Zach? I got one for you.
Oh, boy.
Right now, wherever he is, I'll do this because who knows? George Michael is up there amening you. You remember George Michael, the musician? Mm-hmm. So he had this song, which was not at all about what we're talking about, but the beginning of this song is exactly what you just said. So he has this song, I think it was called Teacher, but the first words of this song were, "You were far when I could have been your star. You listened to people. They scared you to death. Strange that you were strong enough to ever make a start. But you'll never find peace of mind till you listen to your heart." Then he goes on to talk about other things that are not this. But that is what you just said. And George Michael tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Tell my man Zach he's doing all right."
You're hilarious.
All right, I got carried away.
What do you think's the biggest mistake?
Boy, Zach really hit a very good one. Like, I think that's at the top of the list. But I think the biggest mistake is, it's in the same vein. My favorite coach, John Wooden, used to say, "Don't let what you know keep you from learning what you need to know." Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times you'll talk to people about something. I know business, and I know startup, and I know buying businesses, and people will come to me and they'll say, "Hey, Mark, I got a 750 credit score and there's a business I want to buy. Do you think I'll be able to buy it?" And I'll say, "Well, yeah, of course." I said, "You probably need at a minimum 5% down, probably 7, and in a perfect world, 10. Do you think you can do that?" "Well, I have the money down, but there's no way they're going to loan a guy like me money. I've never even been in that business." And what they know is keeping them from even applying, even taking the first step. And I think, that old saying, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." People are letting what they think they know stop them from taking that first step and finding out all that's possible about them. So I think they're letting their flawed knowledge base, which is really the same thing Zach is saying, they're letting their flawed knowledge base keep them from all that has been prepared for them, all the good things that await them.
Mm-hmm. You know what's fascinating with both of the things you guys said? Neither of them were tactical, like you're doing this wrong. Like you're doing this marketing thing wrong. You have the wrong software for your funnel or your website. You have the wrong whatever. And I feel like so often people think that if they have all the answers of what to do,
all the things,
then they'll be good. But you guys are saying that's not true.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
You know why?
This is crazy. This is nuts. Here's why she nailed it. And then I'll let you, but you got to hear this. Quick. Name a top soda.
Pepsi.
Okay.
Coke.
Okay. Perfect.
We just started a war of Pepsi Coke.
They're both good. Name, if I have a headache, name a medicine that I could buy at a grocery store.
Bayer.
Huh? Bayer?
Aspirin.
Okay, aspirin. Okay.
Isn't that the same Bayer aspirin? No,
okay, that's the same. So give me one more. Huh?
Ibuprofen.
I don't.
Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen. Okay. Perfect. All right. All right.
You're-
We know you don't take pain medicine. It's
Yeah.
okay.
You're
That's right, I'm
stumping us
asking the
because
wrong
we
guy.
don't like. You got to get me on a product I use.
Mine would have been Tylenol. Okay,
Okay.
so
Oh,
just
Advil, sorry.
just remember that. Okay,
Brand. Sorry.
so I know you drive a Honda, so I'll take that out of the equation. Name 2 good quality Japanese cars.
Toyota and Subaru.
Okay,
What he said.
Toyota and Subaru. So you talk about, we didn't mention tactical and making mistakes, right? So, and I'll use my drug for headaches, and I'll use your input from the other ones. So Coca-Cola will destroy the paint on your car and make your teeth fall out, and they switched their recipe to New Coke and lost a gazillion customers. Toyota had a sticking gas pedal probably about 15, maybe 20 years ago that almost bankrupted them, right? Tylenol had a nut job working in one of their factories that put arsenic and poisoned people and killed people, and they didn't know which stores it was in, and so they had to take everything off the shelves, apologize, and own it completely. So getting it wrong is a part of being in business. And here we are today on the other side of insurmountable screw-ups by these companies, and the first names that pop into our minds for those things are Coke, Tylenol, and Toyota. Bam. Mess up. Get it wrong. Dust yourself off and keep freaking going.
But it's all mindset.
Yeah, again, 100%.
You want to know our favorite quote?
What's that?
Movement creates clarity.
Ooh,
We've been saying that
I love
since
that.
we started.
that's similar to my dad saying,
What's your dad saying?
do something, boy, even if it's wrong.
Oh yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
favorite. That's my favorite.
That might be my favorite. Okay.
They mean the same thing.
It's
They mean the
same
same
thing.
It's the same vein
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, and they're both great. There's just there's so much in all those things and people are crazy. Like they just freeze. They're like the deer in the headlights, right? It's like, oh, I can't do anything. It's like, okay, don't do anything. Like you stay exactly where you're at.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And it's not going to be easy. Nothing is. Nothing that we celebrate is easy. Oh, I love such and such, the heavyweight champion of the world. Okay, not easy. I love so-and-so, my favorite quarterback. Okay, not easy. I love such and such, Richard Branson, he's the greatest businessman. Not easy. No, Mark Cuban, the bazillionaire, he's telling you, I was sleeping on my friends' couches, working 3 jobs and trying to get it right.
Trying to figure it out.
You know, with no automobile. It's not easy. That is how you know you are on the right course. If it is all easy, you can plan on waking up with a very short haircut and all of your strength being gone. Because that's where easy leads. Samson reference. Sorry about that.
Well,
That's good.
it's so fascinating because people often, Zach and I talk about this all the time. One of your other favorite phrases is you have to enjoy the process, right?
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, and we've run into
love
this
the
in our
process.
marketing business, is people want to start with the big thing. And sometimes it's not about, actually, I would say
they want to start
almost-
they want to start with a home run.
they do. And almost
100%.
all the time, the wins start with a base
Base
hit.
hit.
Thank you. I almost
Just a hit.
missed
Like,
the reference.
I mean,
Hit the ball. Do
hit,
something,
like,
boy.
For real, like who cares if you got on base even?
Yep.
Just get up and nick the ball. Like most people just stand up there and let the pitcher throw strikes.
And they're like, I'm not gonna
And I
try
don't
to
even
hit
like
it unless
baseball.
I can hit a home run.
and I don't
it's
even like baseball. So
It's nuts. And you know, and in basketball, as a coach, we used to call them Instagram ballers. So, you know, we go recruit and we go to these tournaments, and you got the guy that, you know, shot the ball 40 times and made 1 3, and he's running down court, making every signal in the world, you know, looking at me, high-fiving himself because, and did you get that, Mom? Okay, I'm going to do it again. And then he wouldn't shoot the 3 and make it again. He would do all the celebrating again because he wanted the footage to put that one, not even the shot, celebration on Instagram. And so we developed a term. We're like, yeah, I'm not sure I'm interested in that player. They're an Instagram baller. And that means they don't celebrate the gym. They don't celebrate the conditioning, the road work, the jump ropes, the jump boxes, you know, the pre-dawn workouts. What they celebrate is, I need a clip for Instagram. And if you're building your business for an Instagram clip, you're setting yourself up for agony and disaster. if you are enjoying that process, you know, and if you are in the dark gym getting up your shots and or following up on your leads or sending out the emails or working through technology that you don't quite understand, and even though you read the directions 8 million times, if you're doing those things, your success is waiting for you. It is at the finish line saying, you're almost here. Come on, we got you.
Keep doing the work.
Keep doing the work.
I think, man, I like people they want the flashy stuff because the flashy stuff sells. But the fundamentals are what win. Like I haven't watched football professional football in quite a while, but I remember watching, and love him or hate him, Bill Belichick, I call him mad genius.
Oh yeah.
The evil genius, right? Cause he probably cheated a few times, but that's okay. Regardless, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. But I remember watching a game, couldn't tell you the game, don't ask, but he had a tight end, or he had some player that was in, and he was lined up, and the defensive guy across from him was lined up off sides. And they snapped the ball and nothing happened because the player didn't reach out and touch him. Bill Belichick went completely bananas on this dude it was like a 4th and 1. All he had to do was reach out. He could have touched him because he was in the neutral zone, and it would have been, got the flag, got the first down, and then it kept going down the field, and the kid didn't do it. And he went bananas on him. You'd have thought that the kid dropped the ball on the winning, but this is in the middle of the game. This is second, it wasn't even final drive or anything. There was none of that. It was just in the middle of the game. Bananas on him. And I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder he wins all the time. He's so fanatical about the fundamentals.
Excellence.
So fanatical about that he just always won. And that's obviously it's not the whole thing. He had some good players in there and stuff too, but it makes such a big difference.
You got to be a little nuts about the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, think about the 1950s. You remember automobiles? They're not like the ones we drive now. Even the new ones had issues, 200 miles into it, it's smoking, And you got Ray Kroc hears about these guys going through milkshake mixers out in California, and he drives all the way from Chicago, maybe even further, but I think Chicago, out to the West Coast to see what the heck is going on that you're selling this many milkshakes. He's a milkshake salesman. He's not an entrepreneur. He's not a venture capitalist. He's a milkshake salesman. He sees something and realizes there might be something in here for me. He literally takes his last dollars and drives to the West Coast in his beater of a car just to ask them what they're doing. And when he gets there, he has to wait till the rush is over, and because he sees they're it's operating like no restaurant he ever saw. He had no money. All he had was an idea and an undying belief in himself. And if he would have been like most people, he'd have said, well, I don't have any money. These guys aren't going to want to do a deal with me. He didn't. He walked in. He said, let's do a deal. I'll sell the franchises. That's my half. You'll own the business. That's your half. And they're like, okay. And he went out and started selling the freaking franchises and didn't pay a dime for it. And at the end of the day, he ended up buying them out for another $2 million. And now, there's 30,000 McDonald's worldwide. His estate is, worth like the Waltons estate. And just because a guy believed in himself enough to drive in an old beater car with no way home to ask the milkshake salesman and hamburger guys how they were doing so much business. It baffles me that faith like a mustard seed is always at the beginning of the stories that we celebrate the most.
Always.